Welcome to Express 100. We show you top 100 stories of the day. Both houses of India's parliament held a discussion on the motion of thanks on the president's address. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi replied in the lower house on the motion of thanks. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the people of India chose his party for a third successive term in the world's largest elections. The Prime Minister stated that his party campaigned on a promise to build a Viksit Bharat or a prosperous India, and the citizens have supported this vision by giving his party a landslide victory in the elections. The Prime Minister also spoke about how the country has suffered due to appeasement politics for a long time. He said his government has chosen to prioritize satisfaction over appeasement. Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked lawmakers from the ruling alliance to follow parliamentary rules, uphold the principles of parliamentary democracy and exhibit good conduct during his address to National Democratic Alliance lawmakers in New Delhi. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju told reporters after the meeting that Prime Minister Modi wanted lawmakers to put the country before self and develop an expertise on certain issues. The National Democratic Alliance felicitated Prime Minister Modi on becoming Prime Minister for the third consecutive time. A major stampede claims over 50 lives in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Incident took place at a religious event in Hathras city. PM offers condolences, assures all help. UP Chief Minister has ordered a detailed investigation. India and Belarus held the first ever consular dialogue in Minsk, where discussions were held on various consular issues ranging from the welfare of Indian students in Belarus to enhancing tourism between the two countries. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will lead an Indian delegation to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Kazakhstan. The 24th meeting of the SCO Council of Heads of State will be held on Thursday in Astana. Leaders are expected to review the organization's activities over the past 2 decades and discuss the state and prospects of multilateral cooperation. India's Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, along with his spouse, called on India's President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday at Rashtrapati Bhavan or President's House in India's capital. An annual pilgrimage to the Hindu shrine of Amarnath in Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing a rush. Another batch of pilgrims departed from the Pantha Chowk Srinagar base camp on Tuesday. Members of a political student organization staged a protest in front of the Telangana Public Service Commission office over the alleged negligence of the Telangana government on unemployment issues in South Indian state of Telangana's Hyderabad. Rouse Avenue Court in Delhi adjourned arguments on former Indian Lower House member Brij Bhushan Singh's plea seeking summoning of foreign travel stay documents. Next date of hearing is July 11. The Delhi High Court has given notice to CBI over Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's plea. CBI had arrested Kejriwal on June 26 and sought 3-day remand custody as well as from lower court. Police in the northern Indian city of Amritsar arrested a person for smuggling drugs from a neighbouring country. 5 kilograms of heroin recovered. The drugs were smuggled in via drones. Probe is underway. The Border Security Force neutralized a cross-border Pakistani intruder who crossed the international border falling in Fazlika district of Punjab state. The intruder had repeatedly been warned but did not stop his advance. A joint operation by STF, DRG, BSF and ITBP is underway in the Narayanpur district of Chhattisgarh. The Naxals and security officials have engaged in an exchange of fire. So far, no security official has been hurt in the firing. Meanwhile, 2 new cases of the Zika virus were reported at Pune in the Indian state of Maharashtra. A total of 6 infected cases, including 2 pregnant women, have been reported till now. Moving to business, Indian stocks ended in red on Tuesday as Sensex fell 34.74 points to settle at 79,441. While Nifty dipped 18.1 points to close at 24,124. The Indian rupee fell 6 paise to close at 83.5 against the US dollar on Tuesday. Oil prices gained about 2% to a two-month high on hopes of rising demand during the Northern Hemisphere's summer driving season. Brent futures rose $1.6 to settle at $86.6 per barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose $1.84 or 2.3% to settle at $83.38. Asian stocks were mixed on Tuesday. Tokyo's benchmark Nikkei 225 added 1.1% to 40,062 as the weaker yen spurred buying of export-oriented shares. Hong Kong's market was higher. The Hang Seng climbed 0.6% to 17,819 and the Shanghai Composite Index was unchanged at 2,996. South Korea's Kospi dropped 0.9% to 2,778 despite data from Statistics Korea showing the country's consumer inflation slowed to an 11-month low in June. While in Europe, London's FTSE 100 tumbled 0.05%, hitting its lowest in more than 2 weeks on Tuesday after ending the previous session flat ahead of national elections in the country, while an uptick in oil prices has declined. Germany's DAX was also down today by over 0.84%, trailing at around 18,139. The US dollar surged to a fresh 38-year peak against the yen on Monday as Treasury yields on the long end rose sharply, keeping investors on heightened alert for interventions from Japanese authorities. The higher US yields supported the dollar, which was at $1.0719. The dollar rose as high as 161.745 yen on Tuesday, a level not seen since December 1986. A workers' union at Samsung Electronics in South Korea has said that a strike will begin on July 8 by 28,000 members on the demands of better pay. The Britons go to polls on July 4th. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Monday urged voters on the political right to stick with his Conservatives at this week's election, saying a huge win for Labour would be bad for country and its democracy. Campaigning is in full swing. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak went hunting for votes among whirling robots in a retail distribution centre on Tuesday, kicking off his first campaign stop of the day before 5 a.m. Meanwhile, Britain's Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt was seen knocking on doors and as part of his election campaign in southeast England. While in a score of Britain's Liberal Democrat Party leader Ed Davey embraced his campaign's trend of attention-grabbing stunts by joining supporters in a Zumba class in Wokingham, southeast England on Monday. French voters face a decisive choice on July 7th in a runoff of snap parliamentary elections. French nationals expressed concerns after Marine Le Pen's far-right national rally made historic gains to win the first round of France's parliamentary election. Hours after Marine Le Pen's national rally and its allies made historic gains to win the first round of a parliamentary election, France's Socialist Party member Raphael Glucksmann called it a referendum. Newly elected lawmakers from opposing political blocs of France's far right said the sole task in the coming week is to turn the election around. Leaders of both the left-wing and centrist alliances indicated they would withdraw their own candidates in districts where another candidate was better placed to beat the national rally. The US top court delivered a landmark decision on Monday, ruling that the country's former president, Donald Trump, cannot be held criminally liable for actions that were within his constitutional powers as president. US President Joe Biden criticized the top court's ruling, calling it a dangerous precedent that did a disservice to the American people. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk met in Warsaw as the two nations seek to reinforce cooperation in the face of security challenges and political turbulence in Europe. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban asked Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky during a surprise visit to Kyiv to consider a quick ceasefire that could accelerate peace talks, Orban said during a news conference with Zelensky. In the 858th day of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Moscow has claimed to destroy 5 Ukrainian Su-27 fighter jets and damage 2 airfields in Ukraine's Poltava region. While in an update from the Israel-Gaza conflict, Israel's military has asked residents of the eastern part of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza to evacuate after about 20 rockets were fired towards Israel. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the country is nearing its goal of taking out the military capabilities of Hamas. He said that the Israeli military's less intense operations would continue though. North Korea has said on Tuesday it successfully tested a new tactical ballistic missile on Monday capable of carrying a 4.5-ton super-large warhead. Violence has broken out again in Nairobi. Kenyan riot police fired tear gas at protesters on Tuesday, with some arrested and at least 2 injured. Demonstrations erupted in cities across the country as activists demanded the resignation of President William Ruto. We are heading for a short break. Stay tuned. And Hurricane Beryl barreled across the Atlantic Ocean toward the Caribbean's Windward Islands as an extremely dangerous storm, devastating communities with floods. Hurricane Beryl unleashed powerful winds over the eastern Caribbean, downing power lines and ripping roofs from buildings. Hurricane Beryl strengthened as it churned toward the Caribbean. Scientists said Hurricane Beryl's rapid intensification is something we have not seen before. Hurricane Beryl became a potentially catastrophic Category 5 storm on Monday night as it moved across the eastern Caribbean, bringing torrential rain and flooding. Beryl is expected to remain an extremely dangerous major hurricane when it reaches the Windward Islands, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory. A satellite image shot on Monday showed Hurricane Beryl's eye as seen from the European Union's Copernicus Sentinel-2 imaginary at latitude 12.38 and longitude minus 61.32. St. Vincent and the Grenadines witnessed massive destruction as Hurricane Beryl passed through the islands. 90% of the houses were severely damaged or destroyed. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, said they expect the natural disaster that could continue for days. Heavy rains brought by Tropical Storm Chris caused a mudslide in the Mexican community of Hualoapan de Cuauhtemoc in coastal Veracruz, which left streets and houses covered with mud. Eastern Mexico prepared for the arrival of Hurricane Beryl, forecasted to strike the Mexican Caribbean on July 5th with potent winds and heavy rainfall. The International Space Station captured extraordinary footage of Hurricane Beryl. The video revealed the sheer magnitude and intensity of the potentially catastrophic weather system. In India's northeastern Assam, the flood situation has worsened as river Brahmaputra flew above danger level. People remained affected in 12 districts of the state. The Indian Air Force rescued 13 marooned survivors from a small island in the flooded Brahmaputra north of Dibrugarh in the state of Assam. Heavy rain continued to lash many parts of Indian state of Gujarat on Tuesday, causing floodings, traffic snarls and road closures. The southwest monsoon further advanced into the remaining parts of India on Tuesday. Thus, it covered the entire country on 2nd July 2024 against the normal date of July 8. India could experience above normal rainfall in July except for parts of the northeastern region, the India Meteorological Department said on Monday. The mascot Labubu arrived in Thailand to promote travel to key destinations, encouraging Chinese tourists to follow in its footsteps. The mascot arrived in Thailand to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Thai-Chinese relations. South Korean government now weighs a petition by the villagers on the Korean island to designate the deer as harmful wildlife rather than livestock. Britain royal family's holiday retreat Balmoral Castle in the United Kingdom opened its doors to the public on Monday for the first time in its history. For the first time since the castle was completed in 1855, visitors will be able to catch a glimpse of royal life in the Scottish Highlands. 40 visitors per day will be allowed for the tour. Hundreds of drones lit up the sky over Hong Kong on Monday as the former British colony marked 27 years since its return to Chinese rule. A display of 350 drones created various patterns in Hong Kong's night sky, including the number 27, pandas, dolphins and more, attracting large crowds of residents and tourists. Earlier in the day, Hong Kong leader John Lee announced that China was gifting the city a pair of giant pandas to celebrate the anniversary, which excited many residents. New York photographer and writer Gary He has single-handedly documented McDonald's evolution over the last 40 years in his new book, Mac Atlas. The book, Mac Atlas, features over 250 photographs of locations and localized items, including the Mac Baguette in France to the Mac Aloo Tikki in India. Readers also get a glimpse of fan-favorite discontinued items from the past. China's Fangyun 3F meteorology satellite officially commenced operational services on Monday following ground and application system in orbit, testing reviews and operational trial runs. The Fangyun 3F satellite will soon take over the in-orbit duties and provide services in areas such as weather forecasting, climate prediction, disaster monitoring and environmental monitoring. Rapidly increasing deer population on the South Korean island of Anma have outnumbered human population 7-1. People on the island have resorted to living behind fences, penned into homes and fields. Chinese researchers have discovered a new plant and 4 insect species in China's Yunnan province. The 5 species include a new iris and 4 panorpa. The new plant species discovered in China's Yunnan province has been named as the iris Canchananus. Irises are diverse genus with over 300 species globally and more than 60 found in China. Indian film actor Prabhas starred Kalki 2898 AD is slated to pass rupees 6,000 billion in collection worldwide on Tuesday. Film has grossed rupees 5,550 million worldwide in just 4 days. Indian actress Kareena Kapoor Khan starrer film The Buckingham Murders is set to hit the theatres on July 13, 2024. Film produced by Indian actors Richa Chadha and Ali Fazal, Girls Will Be Girls has won the Grand Jury Prize at the Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles. Indian action thriller Kill is slated to get a new lease of life as Lionsgate and 8711 Entertainment have come together to make an English language remake of the film. Thai singer Lisa's latest music video Rockstar has sparked a Yao Warat fever after the famous road in Bangkok's Chinatown was featured in the video, generating curiosity worldwide. Bet Awards 2024 has apologized for muting Lifetime Achievement awardee American singer-songwriter and dancer Usher's winning speech at the event. Judi Dench and Sian Phillips have become the first women to get admitted to the Garrick Club, a prestigious private members club in London founded in 1831. American rapper Eminem recently announced that his new album, The Death of Slim Shady, will be released worldwide on July 12th. Pixar movie Inside Out 2, a sequel to the 2015 hit about the inner workings of a young girl's mind, has crossed the $1 billion mark at the worldwide box office in less than 3 weeks. Inside Out 2 became the highest grossing movie of the year and the only one to cross $1 billion, reaching that level in the fastest time of any animated film in history. And in sports, goalkeeper Diogo Costa saved all 3 penalties as Portugal won 3-0 in a shootout against Slovenia in Euro 2024 last 16 clash. France secured a nervy 1-0 win over a disappointing Belgium to advance into the quarterfinals of Euro 2024. 5 times World Cup champions Brazil and informed Colombia to meet in North California in highly anticipated Copa America clash. Wimbledon favourite Aryna Sabalenka pulled out shortly before her opening match on Monday due to a shoulder injury. Third seed Carlos Alcaraz endured an early test in his Wimbledon title defence, but he quelled the challenge of qualifier Mark Yahal 7-6, 7-5, 6-2. Second seed Coco Gauff concluded centre court action with an impressive 6-1, 6-2 win against fellow American Caroline Dolehide. India's top-ranked singles player Sumit Nagal lost to Miomir Kekmanovic of Serbia in the first round of men's singles at Wimbledon. The Indian squad for the T20I series against Zimbabwe has departed from India. The first match is on July 6th. England great James Anderson will join the team as a fast bowling coach after retirement next week. India's billiards maestros Pankaj Advani has his sights firmly set on achieving a hat-trick of Asian Billiards Championships title. Well, that's it in Express 100, but news and updates will continue.